25% of adults over 60
Enter the madman, stage left. The audience rises and holds their breath. They let the vampires into their house, pretend they don't see when the teeth come out. Put a band-aid on their throat. No one wants to rock the boat, and no one wants to talk about it. You're not supposed to talk about it. The curtain rises and the players come out. Webs of light spinning from their mouths. Stop looking, listen for a little while. Attention to the men behind the curtain. Just look away when you see the blood spurting down to a steady drip. I promise to leave you a little bit. I'll be back for another drink tomorrow. I love the taste of your terror and your sorrow breathing in your blood. It's never enough.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Iron Mountain Hour. It is Thursday, September the 14th, 2023. My name is Cliff. I'm coming to you live from Carter County, Tennessee. Here in the middle of the Iron Mountain, I'm joined via Skype by Tim, who I hope you can hear because his face is not showing up on the screen. Give me something, Tim. Let's make sure the folks can hear you out there.
Pickled ass.
Pickled ass. Well, folks can hear that, I guess. He's used to people not hearing him, so he says something that he didn't figure you'd be able to hear, but apparently you can. So thanks for that compliment there, Stephen Lee. That's the opening song. That's the old theme song we recorded a couple of years ago. We do have a new one in the works. We've laid down some of the skeletal structure, as it were, of that song, but we got a lot of work left to do. Haven't done any vocals or anything on it, and Tim and Dustin and I worked on that last Thursday. Had a good time putting that together. So look for that in the very near future. We'll have that there. I don't know really how you would describe it, but it's kind of a weird song. It's not one in the style really that I've written before. So it'll be fun. And with Dustin adding the bass and Tim adding all the flair that he does, he's going to add a lot to it. I'm sure with the guitar there. I'm just kind of laying down the basic track. Tim's going to take over and do the recording process and add something to make it unique, I'm pretty sure, and we'll kind of all do our part and put it together and have a neat sounding song for the intro that kind of describes a little bit of the show. So hope y'all enjoy that. Stay tuned for that in the very near future. But we've had to put a delay on a couple of our guests, so we'll get them rescheduled again. Appreciate that, Stephen Lee. But we'll get those guests rescheduled. We've got a few lined up, and it hasn't been working out for anybody. So, everybody has things come up, and we're respectful of that, and I know y'all are too. But without further ado, let's get into the stories of the evening. Well, this one is going to be a lot of fun. Nearby, in the town of Jonesboro. There's a man, let's see, what's this feller's name? He's competing in a national mullet contest. Samuel Blankenship, that's it. It's got what he calls his Do It for Dale mullet. So here's a picture of Samuel from Jonesboro. Now he did this stuff right, man. Look at this. he decided it was time for a lifestyle change. So he cut this sweet mop into a glorious mane and been rocking it ever since. Got to do it for Dale, he says. And he's got his Fritos and his Hawaiian shirt and his Cletus America jackets, glasses. His 16-ounce can of Mountain Dew there. That boy is ready to win. He's in it to win it, ain't he? Let's see what else he's got here. Frito eating. Always a winner in a mullet contest. Definitely going to be a contender.
Moon pies work good too.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Pit Viper. I see behind him he's got a first generation Tundra, which I'm a fan of. So he's got that on the we drive those first generation Tundras for work, man. Those are awesome trucks. And look at those shades, man. He is in it to win it. Good luck, Samuel. You can cast your vote there at the mulletchamp.com /men's mullets. You can go through. Do you want to look at some of the other ones there? Because Sam Blankenship, let's see what kind of competition he's up against. What do you think?
Yeah, let's rank them ourselves. Give us at least five other, at least five people, so we can pick a top three.
All right. Let's see what else we got here. And Tim is just going to be a disembodied voice tonight for whatever reason. I don't know, maybe your privacy settings or something, Tim?
I don't think so. I've got that pixel, so maybe it just doesn't like me. I'm okay being a voice.
Yeah. Well, it's just weird that you did get a new phone, didn't you? And that's we haven't had your face on screen since then. So maybe that's what it is. Now that we
I've got
think
it
about
set
it.
up on my computer. I've got it set up on my computer where you could hear me. If I just need to get a camera set up at my desktop, and
Gotcha.
then everything would be better because then you'd have a high quality. My obnoxious voice and very high quality.
Well, what's crazy is your voice comes through pretty much as almost as good as mine, and I'm in front of the microphone, which is, and sometimes yours is even louder than mine. This the OBS program that we use is a little bit finicky, I would say.
But it's free.
That's right. Let's look at mulletchamp.com /men's mullets. A current online contestant, 23. I don't know about digital. Is it digital? Is it all digital? In-person contest. Denim Fest. Denim Fest. Now that sounds like a good one there. He's running for the 2023 Locks of Glory Men's Mullet Showdown. That it goes from September 13th to the 15th. So apparently, you vote for your favorite mullet online. The contestants make the donations to Jared Allen's Home for Wounded Warriors to provide homes to military veterans. So definitely go over and vote for your favorite mullet. Let's check it out here, though. See what other mullets we can find. The 2023 Locks of Glory. Now, is this the online? I'm trying to find the one that he's in. And I see how to vote for him. I don't see how to look at anybody else, though. Oh, back to contestants. Here we go. Mullet Champ. Mullet Champ. Yeah, this guy's definitely a mullet champ. Well, and when I'm trying to look at the other contestants, it's like crashing on me. Let's see what else we can do.
I'm about to send you something.
Round 1 voting. Okay, yeah, this must be it. Here's the contestants. So we got, let's start with Aiden Holland. His mullet is called the Divorcer. From Salem, New Hampshire. The Divorcer. Business is business, he says. Sorry, Aiden, you lose. We don't have enough photos. No good.
Well, I mean, effort for the dirt approach with the the sideburn shave, but I agree.
The deer tay? He's got he's got the braid
maybe,
though.
I would call that more like the like what's the name of that dude that was in that movie Spring Breakers? You ever seen
I
that?
don't think I've seen that now.
Okay, he looks more like a riffraff type to me.
Well, anyway, you
Riffraff.
lose for not enough photos here. Let's check out Aaron Brinker, La Flama Blanca, the White Flame. Yeah, that's better, but still only 2 pictures. I got to give him an A for effort for still rocking the mullet with the receding hairline. That takes guts. Y'all let us know in the comments who you think, or who in the what you call it, chat there. Let's see. Aaron Woomer. What? I don't know why you'd post a picture of yourself eating nachos, bro. But let's check out your mullet. Oh, that's pretty pimp. Aaron Woomer. Can you see this guy?
I can. I like the fluff.
Yeah, that's nice. Let's take it from the side. Oh, he's got the feathered look from the side there. That's a classic. That's a classic '80s high school gym teacher, or no, school bus driver mullet. That's what that is. That's a 1980s boys club basketball coach mullet, and he's rocking it. It's a good looking mullet, Aaron. Let's see what else we got. All right, so we're kind of getting an idea of the competition. So far, to me, Samuel from Jonesboro is blowing away the competition. Let's check out Al Forbes, the travel ball dad. That's what he calls his mullet. That's pretty. That's different, but I can't give you my vote there. Because except for the lines, it's just nothing. It's not that special of a mullet. That's a gimmicky mullet. You can't win a mullet contest on a gimmick. For me, anyway.
Check your email.
Okay.
I've sent you a picture that you can enter as a wild card into our competition. It's a weak effort, but I think it gets points for you.
All right, let's give it a go. Tim Dirt. I remember this guy. Yes. That's Tim Dirte.
Tim Dirte, there you go. God, that's awful, isn't it?
That's great. That's gorgeous. Thank you so much for sharing. That's Tim. I remember that guy. I knew Tim when he looked like that.
I think I did too.
He just cut his bang. Or he just stopped cutting his bangs. Pretty much the same hairdo.
For a long time. I had pretty different levels and different lengths of hair, but I've had it short for quite a long time too.
All right, let's look at a couple more of these mullets. A lot of these guys like to use cougar in their name. Here's Alex McDuffie, cougar bait. He looks like he's going after the look of what's his name, the guy on Stranger Things season 2. That tries to seduce the character Nancy's mom.
Yep.
I'd say he looks like Great Value Billy. That's not a bad mullet though. He's from the Florida Everglades. He looks like a Florida man, to be honest. All right, let's check out one more. So far for me, nothing has beat Samuel from Jonesboro. And, I mean, he's got the best name, too. Do It for Dale. Oh, man, I kind of want to...
That's true.
Man, there's a lot of good ones here. These are more up there in the competition here. Let's check this guy out. He's Andrew Greep, Billy Ray's baby maker, he calls his mullet. I didn't know naming mullets was a thing, did you?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but no, I didn't know that they actually did have a list. It doesn't. I'm sure I did at one point in time. I mean, now that you even bring up mullets, I remember all the names of the shapes of boobs. Remember like the one that did something like the watermelons. You know,
I don't remember.
I don't think the Joe Dirt was as dirty as it could have been.
No. But good luck to Samuel Blankenship. Go vote for him and his Do It for Dale mullet. He's let's look at him one more time here. He's honestly the best one. Not just because he's from Jonesboro, but I just feel like he was the best one. He's got the best overall mullet. There he is one more time. Let's look at him one more time there. That's best in the show to me.
Yeah, yeah. Got good fitness for presentation.
Yep. He's staged it very nicely. He put a lot of thought into the whole thing. Good luck, Samuel. We'll vote for you. All right, now look at this. We got from Gatlinburg some people learning. Well, I don't know if they're learning or not, but the authorities are telling them. Maybe they're paying attention, maybe they're not. But you get away from bears in you'll see a lot of them in the Gatlinburg area. They're all over the place up in the hills and stuff. But sometimes they do go down into public, and folks catch some video of them. From ABC News. That's not that big of a bear, but that big of a bear can still mess you up. I mean, that's the size of a large dog. A large dog can mess you up, and a bear is way stronger than a large dog. If you see a bear in public, you kind of want to go the other way. I can understand the urge to film it, but like this guy sitting at the rail, like that bear couldn't just come over the rail if he wanted to in like a split second. You ever seen a bear run or climb a tree? When bears want to move in a hurry, they can. They're slow most of the time, but that's just because they got no place to be, man. You know, they're taking it easy. But when they decide that they want to be somewhere in a hurry, they can be. What's up, Spiel? Oh, man, you were in a car collision. Oh, sore, no blood, but you got paid. Well, that's good. I'm glad you got paid and didn't have to, have a bad injury for it. Glad to have you back. Stephen Lee says Fritos Mellow Yellow wins it all. Yeah, I mean, it's Dew. It's DEW it for Dale. It's Mountain Dew, man. Fritos and Mountain Dew, yeah, that wins it for. I think that's hands down the winner. He's put way more effort into the contest, in my opinion. I wonder what the dynamic of these in-person mullet contests, because years ago, probably 15 years ago, I had a great big bushy beard, and somebody invited me, and they were like, "Hey, come and be in this beard contest with me." And I'll tell you what, that was one of the craziest, I don't know, crazies, but just bizarre. One of the most bizarre things I've ever done. Well, you went down, and I had no idea really what I was doing, but they actually have you come onto the stage, and you're supposed to tell everybody about your beard, and why you started growing a beard, and how long you've grown the beard. It was a very strange thing, and these people are really into beards, man. And like it used to be a point, like when I had this long beard, I'd be like standing in line at the grocery store, and people would come up and start talking to me about like, "What do you do for your beard, man?" Like, dude, I don't do nothing for my beard. I just don't shave. It's like just because we both have beards, we suddenly don't have something in common to talk about. So if we do want to talk about something, I don't care to talk about a beard with another dude. It's just bizarre to me. Beardos, yes. They are beardos, Spiel. You got it. I like it. Tim, you're cutting out there, buddy.
And it was a big to do. Like people were pumping. It was sold out.
We lost you there for a minute before it was a big to do. It was sold out. I didn't hear anything you said there.
We had a beard competition at the Bonnie Kate Theater.
That's
when I
where it
ran
was.
sound
Yeah.
there. Oh, did you? Okay, so that was the one you did. All right, well, I
Yeah.
was there that night running sound. As much as that matters.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, it was. I've never would have done it really, but I had been invited by somebody who, it was. It just seemed like a nice gesture of him because he was going to be in it, and he invited me to be in it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But anyway, yeah, so I went and did that, and it was just a strange situation. And beard culture has gotten like, you see people riding around with stickers on their car like, what is it, Stuffy's beer or beard oil or something like that. Like, I don't know. People like to talk about beards. Whatever, man. You do you. I mean, I'm sure I'll grow one again because I get too lazy to shave every day, and I probably look better with a beard, even if I look a little younger without one. But either way, just kind of strange culture. But the mullet culture, it looks bizarre, but it looks like it's self-aware at least, right? Like it knows that it's crazy, and they're playing off of it, and they know it's kind of absurd, and they're playing off of that. Whereas the beard thing is like, a lot of people take it really seriously. And just, I don't know, it just seems kind of crazy to me to really take it that seriously. So the other story I want to talk about tonight, I got this story. This is actually from the LA Times, and why would I be having an LA Times story on the show, you might ask, but there is a reason. And you might also say, why would I be talking about an LA Times article about Beyonce and Taylor Swift? And they say the Beyonce and Taylor Swift jobs at USA Today have sparked backlash from news reporters. Here's why. And they go on to explain that USA Today, along with several other, dozens of other publications that are owned by Gannett Press, which owns newspapers all over the country, and they own them in Tennessee too. They own the Tennessean, which is one of, if not the largest newspapers in Tennessee, and then they own the Knoxville News Sentinel, which is one of the larger ones in News Tennessee. They also own the Oak Ridger, the Columbia Daily Herald, the Commercial Appeal in Memphis, the Daily Journal News in Murfreesboro, the Gallatin Examiner, the Jackson Sun. So they're from one end of, they're not all the way up here in northeast Tennessee, but they're in East Tennessee and Knoxville, all the way over to West Tennessee. They're in Jackson and Memphis. And they are hiring for their, I guess it's all mostly online, and it is print too. But they're hiring a reporter to cover Beyonce and Taylor Swift for those publications. And this is a report from the LA Times. This is, what's his name? Jonah Valdez. He's a staff writer at the LA Times. And he's talking about why this has made a stir or whatever, that the USA Today managers, he says, were specifically inviting Swifties, I guess, which are Taylor Swift mega fans, to apply for the job, despite listing the candidates be without a bias. The conflict seems like an invitation for candidates to lie on their application, mused one former USA Today reporter, Grace Ding. So we got reporters getting they're getting sore, I guess, because USA Today, the Tennessean, they are not having reporters out doing things. They've had massive layoffs, and they've stopped covering things like local courthouse stuff is one of the things they're talking about. Local city hall policies, crime, and other neighborhood issues. They're not reporting on these things anymore, but they're going to have a Taylor Swift reporter. And I say, good, yes, good. People who read the newspaper don't read for Taylor Swift, right? But those people are not reading these publications anymore either, are they? Because if you've read the Tennessean, or if you've read the Knoxville News Sentinel, if you've read your local paper, probably, we've mentioned it on the program before, these local papers and their online counterparts are they're written in a way that is insulting to a lot of the political sensibilities of their readers. Now, Tennessee, if you're in Tennessee, this is a really red state. This state went, I think, 65% to Trump It went 65% to Governor Bill Lee. There was a time when not too recent or not too long ago, when Democrats could actually hold office in the state of Tennessee. But that time seems to have passed since about 15 years ago. It's been pretty red. We had a Democrat governor, Phil Bredesen, for a while, and he ran for Senate and lost pretty handily. So the sentiment of Tennesseans, politically speaking, is pretty clear, and a lot of the people who are politically active in Tennessee are actually your newspaper readers. Well, those newspaper readers, when they read a local paper that has every day or every week, the opinion piece is from somebody saying, well, I'm a local gun-carrying mom, but I don't believe that we should be allowed to carry guns on Sundays or something like that. You know, some kind of little chink in the armor for gun control. And you know, conservatives and Republicans don't like this stuff. They see that and they don't say, oh, well, this is convincing me. They say, this paper is an anti-gun paper now, so they stop reading it. And they also see a lot of disinformation. They saw a lot of things like them citing, propping up some of the local Democrat politicians and stuff in the state house. And you know, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what they want to do. If you support Democrats, whatever, that's your thing. I can't support them with you. I mean, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but I'll tell you what, the Democrats have gone off the deep end over the last 10 years or so. Just all the things that people accused them of in like the 90s and early 2000s that they said, no, we're not trying to do that. They're doing it all then some, and then they're saying, what? Why shouldn't we, strip all the wealth from the billionaires and, have, you just keep going, strip all the wealth from all the citizens and redistribute it to the people. And yes, we're communists. What of it? But anyway, that doesn't fly in Tennessee. It's not popular here. So if you are a local paper and your reporting is kind of tinged that way, or if your editorial page is tinged that way, you are going to lose support. There's people around here who take this stuff very seriously, and if they think you're on the other side, they're not going to read your paper. So if you're thinking that adding Taylor Swift to that, and all these journalists are like, this sucks because this means people are missing out on news coverage. Well, you know what? They're not, because people are still getting news coverage. You know what they're doing? They're going out to independent news sites on the internet. They're going to follow people on Twitter or X or Facebook who interact with their community and actually are in there on the front lines putting this news out. If the local reporters don't cover it, or if the local reporter is pissing down your back and telling you it's raining, then you don't have to. They're not your only source. There's community groups who are putting this information out there, sharing it. There's citizen journalists. There's pages like Scanner Foods, Elizabethan News and Elizabethan News and Priority Alerts. All these different pages are popping up on all these different sites. YouTube. There's streamers out there doing what we're doing. There's guys like Stephen Lee who are going down and showing you the real on the ground things that they see every day when they go out. And that's what people want to see. That's where people are getting their information. They don't need the Tennessean or the Knoxville News Sentinel, talking like some old, Tennessee plantation Democrat. That's what they remind me of, like a white hat party. But people ain't into that stuff anymore. It's not flying. The major news media the mainstream news media has really lost a grip on people. And even if you get people to watch Taylor Swift or read your Taylor Swift reporter, which I don't think you will, if people want to learn about Taylor Swift, they'll go to TMZ or the Hollywood Reporter or something like that. Nobody reads the Tennessean to learn about Taylor Swift. So you're going to continue to probably have the same readership that you do. And as that is dwindling, I don't think Taylor Swift and Beyonce stories are going to help you any. But I'm not in the news publication business, but that's just my 2 cents. Take it or leave it there, Organic Publishing. You decide. Let's move to a national story. Any thoughts on that, Tim?
No, not really. I'm pretty detached from the nonsense.
Yeah. I thought you might be. All right, let's see. Let's look at. You remember one of the things that what I don't know how much being detached to the nonsense. I don't know how much attention you paid in the 2020 presidential election campaign, but I think it was in one of the debates. They asked Biden, what's going to be your main thing? And he's like, "We're going to cure cancer, man." And so here he put out this video today. Watch this video. Tell me what you think.
Well, last year, Jill and I reignited the cancer moonshot to end cancer as we know it. And so it's not just personal, but it's about what's possible. That's why I wanted to make sure that we have a full government-wide effort on the first ever cancer cap. During the campaign, I was asked, what's the one thing I...
Why would you call it a cancer cap? It just sounds like that sounds like a comedy trope or something. Like you get that C alliteration. It makes it sound silly, but I don't know. It's a clown show in the Biden administration, so it does fit right in there. Let's see what else he has to say. What's the one thing I would do? I would end cancer.
I would do if I were president. What if I could just do one thing? I said I'd cure cancer. Everything we've ever put our mind to, we've been able to do. And I was trying to make the point that it's essential that we keep that spirit. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jill.
He'll turn it right over to Jill. That's really all he has to say. He's going to let Jill turn the rest of it. But he's good at that, say a few words, and then before he nods out, he passes the mic to Jill. But the whole idea of it really is just kind of absurd, as if the government could just end cancer, or if they could just spend enough money. So what are they going to do? They're going to give away. To me, it sounds like they're going to give away more of your tax dollars to big pharmaceutical companies to do studies so that they can make drugs to sell to you. They're not going to give these drugs to you. So why in the fuck is the government funding drug companies so they could, I'm sorry for cursing, but why are they funding drug companies with our tax money that they're going to sell to us? Why is the government doing that? That's not something they should be doing. The drug companies should be making their own drugs if they're going to be selling to us, and they should be paying for their own research. But that's neither here nor there. But if they could just suddenly make a drug and cure cancer, why wouldn't they do that? Other than there's the old I don't even know what you call it, but we pretty much know that there's the cut, burn, and poison is the only way that they really deal with this stuff, and anything else other than surgery, radiation, and chemo is considered to be quackery, and if you don't go through with the surgery, radiation, and chemo, then you're going against doctor's orders, and they won't give you any other help that you need. So they don't consider any alternative treatments. So how are they ever going to find a treatment? Because they're continuing to make so much money, and in most cases, like I talked about in the Oliver Anthony video with the food stamp program, and the food stamps just basically being a back door out of your wallet into the big foods pockets, and that's why that you can buy stuff like all the sugar and sodas and energy drinks with it. It's the same thing with these cancer drugs. This is a back door into our pockets. And what are they going to do? They're going to come out with a drug that they sell to us. Well, if they cure cancer, then they're not going to continue to make money off of it. So I think that's highly unlikely. So they come out with a cancer pill. What about a cancer vaccine? Is this what they're coming up with? Does this show that Biden is trying to move forward and actually stay in the race? Because a lot of people are speculating that he won't make it till the primary because his health appears to be poor. He appears to have, pretty low energy, low cognitive function. Little sleepy, crooked Joe up there is not looking so good. So a lot of people are saying he may not make it. But does this? Now they've asked him, and he says he's going to. Does this cancer videos? Does this show? Are they going to roll out the cure for cancer to keep Biden in office? Does Biden think that they're going to support him in this? It's a pretty bizarre in a long list. I know I've used that word a lot, but just the idea that we're just going to cure cancer. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. That would be the way for that's probably what it would take for Biden to stay into office now. Without a lot of tomfoolery to help him out, would be some kind of cure in cancer and him being able to take credit for it. I don't think much short of that would keep him on the line. I think even like regular Democrats are pretty, to say disappointed would be an understatement. not happy with it. But I think it's, so many people just wanted anything other than Trump, and he was that empty vessel, and they didn't care what it was. He was Barack Obama's vice president. He must be okay. Well, he must not be. But let's move on to the last story of the night. So we got NASA has published its final report of UAP study that they did over. They had, it was, I think it was over the last year, and it was 16 experts that got together to study this stuff at NASA, and they came to some of these conclusions. Let's look here. This is the identified anomalous phenomena, or unidentified anomalous phenomena independent study team report. And looking over this, first thing you notice is and of course they give the credit, and they do have some photos in here, and they basically, they show the team, and they go on to start off right off the bat of showing you this phenomenon. This is a kind of lightning. It's pretty wild looking. It's called a red sprite lightning, and they're showing you this. They say it's really rare to get this photographed, and it does happen in thunderstorms, but it doesn't happen that often. And so obviously they're showing you right off the bat, saying, see, what you saw wasn't a UAP. It could have been this crazy lightning.
Did you know that that's actually the weird weather stuff? Something I fell in like a rabbit hole back at the beginning of COVID. There was a YouTube site. I can't remember the name of it. He's out in the middle of like Iowa or someplace like that, and he catches videos of these sorts of. It's not that they're rare; they're just hard to catch.
Yeah.
Because actually, every thunderstorm, they happen every time. They're just really, really hard to catch. You have to have a special kind of camera too, to make it fast enough. It's like ghost jets and something else, ghost jet sprites, and I think there's one other one. But it's like the electricity discharging further and further into the atmosphere, and I think they're really cool looking. If you can see some cool pictures of them.
I think that was a cool picture of them there. And then we go on a little bit further, and they show the Aurora Borealis over Canada. That's from the space station. And then they show a meteor coming through here on the left side of the screen, showing the Milky Way, and you can see Andromeda Galaxy over there. The Perseid meteor shower. And then they show a weather balloon. And so you can see where this is going, right? This is all meteors, weather balloons, and that's pretty much what they go to. They go to the South Asian object, and they say it's likely a commercial aircraft. And it could be. I don't know. But this is not one of the things that really is like, okay, NASA, explain that TikTok incident. You don't do that in your report, do you? Now that's just, I know that's the main one, but with the TikTok object, it violates our laws of physics, so to speak, or, well, we don't know how it's possible for a thing to change speed and direction in the manner in which that craft does. So let's tell us what that is, why don't you? But they don't do that. But this is they also got this photo in the Middle East of MQ-9, of an apparent silver orb-like object in the Middle East. And it says, due to limited data, the object remains unidentified. So they show you this, blurry satellite photo of a ball in the Middle East and say, well, we don't know what that is. So they basically find a few things that they can tell what they are. And this one they say is a cavitation of this is a sensor artifact from video compression, so it's actually not even there. It's apparent atmospheric wake or cavitation, and it's probably a commercial aircraft, and that the some kind of atmospheric wake is causing it to distort and look like that. And you go on down, and they show a bunch of other bullcrap as to why, there's no such thing as. They go into the Go Fast video, they say, and they do. I don't know if this is the TikTok one or not, because I can't. All they show is, I think I've always heard that one called the Tic Tac incident. But they say in this that there's an object colder than the ocean and this is that it's drifting with the wind and that there's no heat from it, and they basically say that it's the parallax effect, that it's far away and it's moving. It looks like it's moving faster. Okay, for one, if this is the Tic Tac video, these naval aviators messing with this thing are used to the parallax effect. They've been in these situations a lot. They've tracked things at distance. They've tracked fast objects. They know the difference between a piece of floating debris and what debris floats. What debris floats in over the ocean, so that Navy pilots cannot fly towards it, cannot approach it, and then changes speed rapidly. So they take basically one screenshot of this whole event and show you this data, and say that they measured for the whole video basically off of this one screenshot. And these guys are supposed to be, the smart guys. But anyway, I wanted to look at a couple of, because the ones they used there were blurry. You couldn't really see much. I wanted to look over at UFOcasebook.com, since I know that they're back online now and look like they've got some funding behind them. And this guy he films the Northern Lights, right?
It's April 5th, 2019. A resident of Ondoy goes outside to film the Northern Lights
History Channel
when the peaceful scene literally explodes.
But let's look at this.
4 balls of bright light erupt and seem to drop. 4 balls of bright light erupt and seem to drop 4 glowing objects to Earth. Then, watch, just as it starts to fade, 4 more blow up. Is it a UFO?
Is that the Aurora?
Effects designer Mark D'Antonio compares this to other sightings.
There have been reports of strange halos around UFOs with different color lights, but this is sort of outside that realm.
D'Antonio says classic orb UFOs tend to move very quickly, often with radical angular turns a plane could never make. But these just hang there as their glowing payload falls to Earth. That's anomalous even by UFO video standards.
So there's one that's pretty interesting. Let's check out another one over here. And this is just it's UFOcasebook.com. If you go check that out, they have new stuff every day, and they have photographs, they have videos. Let's see if we got one right here. Here's one from Australia. And I love when people say, well, this is an American phenomenon. They don't see UFOs elsewhere. But they see them all over the place. And they have since before there were cameras. People were painting pictures of them. Here's a silver rotating orb. Unidentified. Could be a drone. It's blurry. It's hard for a camera to, for a phone, especially if that's what that is, to get a good video of that. But still interesting stuff. But the point I'm making is I can go on to UFOcasebook.com right now and look at user uploaded content that it's just tons and tons of this stuff, and some of it's really compelling,
Warminster,
and a lot of it's not looked at.
Car notices something that appears to be a couple of helicopters or drones. But then, look at this. They seem to split into 5 or 6 smaller objects and then perform a series of coordinated maneuvers. Almost 300 miles away in Sunderland, a beachgoer catches this on camera. Here, 2 bright orbs loop across the sky and seem to divide. The split orbs proceed to conduct similar coordinated maneuvers just like the Warminster video. They remind journalist and author Alexis Brooks of other first-hand accounts.
In the field of ufology, there is something, in fact, called UFO mitosis. Objects that are seen first as one and then replicating themselves and following a similar trajectory. This could be what we're seeing.
Thanks for viewing our video. Be
Oh, you're
sure to
so
give us
welcome,
a
ma'am.
like. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
Warminster, England.
But regardless, I would think that NASA, if they were going to bother to put this out, I think they would look at some more compelling cases and actually You know, try if there are some that can be explained, fine, explain those. But there are so many that can't, and to just look at a handful that are you know either so obscure or so little data to be able to tell anything about it, like the silver ball, that could be any damn thing. Um, you know, that does us no good to really study that if all you have is like a satellite photo of a silver ball. What are you really going to learn about it? But there's others that you can study, and you have a lot more data and a lot more information, and they didn't touch those. And if you look at how they did the Navy video from the USS Theodore Roosevelt, they took a screenshot of it and took the measurements from that one point and based their whole calculation on that. So anyway, I was not impressed by the NASA report there. And again, there's a lot of studies that are actually being done, especially the like, okay, I found out some interesting information on this guy that did he was the whistleblower, what was his name, Gouch, I think was his name. But he came forward and he was saying that he was given this information by older people, and he that were been in the organizations longer, and he didn't actually see this firsthand. And so we were kind of saying, well, that's strange. They wouldn't be telling this to a younger guy. But I don't think we got all the information at that time. There's some kind of strange psyop going on with this guy. But remember I shared the meme that said I believed in aliens until the government told me where they were real. Well, apparently this guy, I was missing some context from that story. Gouch. David Gouch, I think is his name. He was the UFO whistleblower, if you look him up. But apparently, he was not just the whistleblower. He was actually tasked with, and Congress created a UAP committee where they were going to investigate these things and study them. And they actually tasked this guy. It was his job to go in, and I listened to Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp on the Joe Rogan show. That's where I've learned a lot of this new information that I had not been privy to. But Gouch, it was his job, tasked by this UAP committee or task force created by Congress, that he would investigate a lot of these special access programs that not everybody has clearance to look at. So a lot of it goes unseen. A lot of it is never shown to Congress. So he was supposed to look at this and see if indeed there is black project funding for these things, if people are, if they're reverse engineering these things, and if they are hiding money for using this to hide money for other things, basically to take advantage of the basically endless cash flow from studying this stuff. And he found a lot of interesting information on that, that was what he testified in Congress, that we had recovered stuff, and he was being very careful about what he said, and that was why he had said things like they were non-human, they were biological. And he apparently had to watch his P's and Q's very closely, because this was his job, right? And he got stopped like at every step of the way. He was having roadblocks put in his way while he was trying to complete this investigation. And they went after him. They they got suspended a couple times. They tried to use PTSD to get his clearances taken away so he could continue the work. And eventually he quit the job because they were getting so in his way so much while he was trying to do it. And then that was when he filed for whistleblower protection status, and actually has the former inspector general of I think it was the Air Force Intelligence, or the former chief, or I can't remember, but it's a big guy, as his lawyer, and he has to be very careful about what he says, because and when they asked him about stuff, he's like, well, I can't get into that, Congresswoman. I'll have to meet with you in a skiff, which is a secure room, basically, to where they can look at information where people aren't allowed to be in there can see it. And he was actually denied that skiff. He requested it after that congressional hearing and was denied it. So there's a lot more information that I'm finding out about this guy that makes me think, well, maybe he is onto something here, because they're definitely going after his character, and it's like the conspiracy world went after his character too, and we kind of laughed at him and kind of said, well, this just doesn't make sense, because nobody's going to tell some younger guy all this classified information. Well, that's not really the case. That's just kind of how it was framed when snippets of this interview were put out there. So It'd be interesting to go back and check that out as far as David Gouch's testimony and the UFO whistleblower. I think that's his name. I could be telling it totally wrong. But if you look up UFO whistleblower congressional testimony, you'll definitely be able to find it easily. Spill has having Stephen Lee Day says, go woke, get broke. Yeah, I mean, to a degree, yeah. I mean, if your customers are all woke, you can go woke. But like, if you're trying to appeal to the middle of the road people and like not want people to choose sides and you want everybody to buy from you, you can't go putting that stuff out there. And then, I mean, you can, but you just have to know what's going to come from it. You can't do that in a state like Tennessee and expect a good reaction. So your political leanings aside, it really doesn't even matter. You just, if you want to go on a political crusade, and your political messaging is more important than making money, then more power to you. But just be aware that the message won't fly over in Tennessee. But it's a free country, it's a free state for the most part. Spend your money how you want to. But that's about all I got from you tonight, Tim. Just fill us in on what you think about the UFO situation.
They're not real. They come from underground.
Well, I don't know where they come from. No, I mean, they come from outer space, underground, in the ocean. They come from the moon. They could be us from the future. They could be all around us all the time. We only see them some of the times. I could believe any of that stuff, but I just don't know. But the consensus among Corbell and George Knapp was that the U.S. military basically did a study, or the Brookings Institute did a study in the 1960s that said basically society would fall apart if we found out aliens are real. And the reason they said that is because we live in this society where we believe the U.S. military is, the ultimate power and that it protects us from so many things. And they don't know what we would do if we found out that there was something out there that's flying around that's, buzzing our ships, messing with our nuclear weapons, all the other stories we've heard, and there's nothing they can do about it. They can't chase them, they can't shoot them down, they can't get away from them, and apparently this is well acknowledged in the intelligence reports from the CIA and the FBI and the military back in the 1960s before the Freedom of Information Act, because they never had to worry about you see these FBI and CIA reports from back then, they're so detailed, they never had to worry about the public actually seeing those. But since the Freedom of Information Act has come into effect, you can actually, a lot of those reports are coming out, and you can see it was just, it was well known that it was an issue they had to deal with. The Soviets were dealing with it too. So the idea that there's nothing there, whatever it may be, is all the evidence stands up against it to say that it's just weather balloons. And and of course there are weather balloon sightings that get reported as UFOs. I'm not saying that, but there's a lot of stuff going on out there, and it ain't all weather balloons. It's hollow earthers, right, Tim?
Most likely, yes.
Most likely. Honeycomb, donut,
yes.
Straight hollow, crater.
No. Have you ever seen how people use a raft flipped upside down to keep from drowning?
Mm-hmm.
Like the raft will almost be submerged, but due to water displacement, there'll be like a water bubble under there, and they can breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you do that with the Appalachian Mountains, that's kind of what they're doing. So even if it floods, they're still going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
All theoretically, of course.
Yeah. Well, we already had our pole shift, right? So I guess we never know what's happening. Spill says some are doing immunotherapy instead of chemotherapy. Or is that mainstream doctors are doing that? Because around here they're pretty much only doing chemo. Everybody that I've known that has had it, and unfortunately, I've seen a few people who have had good long-term results. I mean, it does happen, but I've also seen a lot of people who have, and known a lot of people personally, and this is the case with most of the people I've known personally, when they get a major kind of cancer, and they do chemo to treat it, it pretty much, knocks it back for a little while, and then it comes back stronger than ever. And then they basically are, you know, in a race to see if the chemo will kill the cancer or them first, and it usually kills them first. And it's unfortunate, and too bad. Too bad Biden really doesn't have a cure for cancer, but you know, just the idea of putting that out there, like, vote for me, I'm going to cure cancer. It's like, vote for me, I'm going to, you know, deliver presents to every child on Christmas morning for my sleigh. I mean, that's pretty much what it amounts to. And whether that's because the cancer companies have the cure and don't want to release it because they're the cancer companies, the pharmaceutical companies have the cure and don't release it because they don't want to, you know, in their gravy train, or whether it's that nobody is ever able to to cure it, or maybe it's that we don't even know why it's caused. So how can we get rid of it if we don't look at the root cause of it? Which, Spill, I know, you know, I feel like I know where you'd come down on that. Or have a good idea about where you come down on it. That it be dietary related and environmental related, and basically toxins related. You know, coming from environmental toxins are causing genetic mutations, and if we don't get rid of the environmental toxins, we're always gonna have the genetic mutations. So anyway, I think it looks like Tim is gone. I've totally lost him. He's not had a good connection all night. So, oh, okay. Your video is totally gone. But Tim, let's get out of here. It's 11 o'clock.
Alrighty, that's fine.
Chemo killed your dad, you know, Bluffer. Another reason you hate the system. Yeah, man. It's killed people really close to me too. Like my second mom growing up, man. I spent like half my childhood over at this lady's house, and you know, they convinced her when she had this cancer to take this chemo that they knew was going to kill her, and they knew she wasn't going to get better from the cancer, right? So it's like, why not just let her enjoy what time she has instead of saying, let's aggressively fight this cancer with something we know that her body can't handle, that she can't handle the chemo. The chemo is poison. That's literally how it works. It poisons you, the cancer, and it poisons your body to see who it can get first, and you hope it gets the cancer first. But it's like, why not just let that person try to enjoy some of the life they have left? But it was awful, and I've seen it happen multiple times. Good night, everybody. But I hate to end on that note, but I really hope I really wish they did have something. I really hope they do, but it just seems like more political pandering, and you know, a whole lot of probably nothing, unless it ends up being a big giveaway to big pharma in the form of some sort of, you know, regimented cancer thing that you constantly have to take, or either something that's mandatory, like, oh, better get your cancer vaccine, folks. But anyway, that's about all I got tonight. We'll see you on Sunday. We'll get into I haven't really decided exactly what topic we're going to do yet, because like I said, we've had have a lot of stuff going on trying to get guests, and we've had about 3 guests that we've been trying to get in, and each time we get one scheduled for something, that throws the other one off. So we try to get, and it's just not working out really good for us with guests right now. But we'll try to get that stuff going, and we'll see you in the near future. In the meantime, everybody go to Rumble, follow us over there. Go to Twitter or X.com if you're on that, and follow us at the Iron Mountain Hour. We've got a verified channel down there, and we'll try to figure out how we can stream there as well. And we will see you on Sunday. Thanks so much for joining us. Tim, you want to leave us with anything?
No, I'm good. You're good.
All right, brother. We'll see you.